Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you're here, and today we are going to talk about my intro into deity work. I have been a practicing witch for over 10 years, and I always had like a generic god and goddess with like my spell work. I actually have a gold candle for my god and then a black candle for my goddess that I light when I am doing spell work as kind of like a protection and asking them for help with my spell. But this year is the first year that I've felt called to a deity, and I just wanted to talk about it. And to start off, I'm not an expert on this. This video is not me explaining this deity. It is more of just my experience and my journey, and I hope it resonates with you if you've also been interested in stuff like this. So lately, within like the last 6 months, I was seeing a lot of crows, like a ridiculous amount, and we do get a lot of crows around here, but there were so many, and it was just in weird circumstances. Like I'd be out and I'd see like crow figurines, and it's not Halloween. I know 6 months ago, but like kind of before that when I started noticing the signs, and it didn't really make any sense. And then I came across a video on social media about the Morrigan, and normally I don't do deity work and I wouldn't think anything of it. I might watch it and be interested, maybe like it to support the creator of the video. But then I just scroll on and move on. But it just like did something to my brain. Like I latched onto it so obsessively that I started stopping and like watching every video, and then I was looking into it, and the crows kind of started making sense a little bit, and I just kind of was obsessed, and it thought that was kind of out of character for me. But I ended up listening to an audiobook. I cannot remember what this audiobook is called. It wasn't very good, but just about like the lore and the understanding, and how the Morrigan is like a battle goddess. Again, I know she's not entirely that. That's like a very narrow way to look at her. There's so much more. That's amazing. But that's like the overall theme that I kind of gathered, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense for me. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I might not physically be at a battle, but internally, yes. And I was in a point in my life where I have a lot of chronic illness problems, issues with ADHD, and I was really fighting myself a lot and my own internal battle. And that's when it really started to hit me that this could be like a good partnership where I could fight for myself a little more. So I bought Celtic Lore and Spellcraft of the Dark Goddess by Stephanie Woodfield. I will link this below. I bet you can find this at a witchy store. I don't have a local one close to me. But it is invoking the Morrigan. There's spell work and stories in here. Stephanie Woodfield has been a practicing witch for 20 years and a priestess for more than 10. She is definitely more qualified in explaining this deity than I am. So if you're interested in that specifically, check this out. Look up a podcast. There's so many good podcast episodes. There are free audiobooks. I listen to a free audiobook to get my information, other YouTube videos. Just be mindful of who you're watching. Talk about that specific deity. But just for deity work in general, I think that's how a lot of people are introduced to the deities that they work with in witchcraft, is it just kind of calls to you. And it gets really pushy if you don't listen. So that's why I think signs are so cool. Pay attention to the things that you're seeing. Lately, I've been seeing owls everywhere. I posted on Threads. I cannot remember what everybody was thinking, but there were so many owls. It was driving me insane. I've never actually seen an owl. And then I just like heard one when I was working late, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing ever. And is it cool? Maybe no, but I thought it was cool. And then I was seeing that like figurines and illustrations, and it was just so in my face. And I remember saying, the next owl figurine that I see, I'm going to buy, because clearly I'm supposed to have an owl figurine. And then I didn't see any anymore. So still looking into that. Definitely pay attention to the signs that you're seeing. Maybe a deity is calling to work with you. So the first thing that I did with starting deity work was pledge myself. There was a spell in this book that I altered to fit what I wanted, and I actually used this ring as like the symbol of it, to where I had this on my altar while I was doing the spell, basically saying that I would work with her and respect her and honor her any way I could. And I stated my goals was to help with my own issues if possible. And then I wear this, and it's so empowering. I can't even explain it. It was probably the most extensive ritual spell that I've ever done, and it was amazing. I'm not going to go too much in detail about that. Maybe I will in a future video if you guys are interested. I don't like to do my actual spells on camera because they're kind of private, and at some point my family is going to find me on this, and I don't want that. So, but that spell and that ritual is very good. I'm sure it's very similar to other deities where you kind of honor them. And then I set up an altar with the remnants of my spell, my pledge, and there's crystals. There are things that make me think of the Morrigan. There's this gorgeous plaque that I saw that it just matched the vibe. And I have a teacup that I can put offerings in. A lot of deities you can offer coffee, wine, liquor, things like that. I like to pick up things that I have found outside to bring in, and so this little shelf is just my little space specifically for her. Deity work is not something that I practice every single day. I try to do it weekly if I have the time. Again, I have a lot of health issues, so if I have the energy, but it's definitely something that is constantly on my mind, where I will talk to her and I will find gifts if I see something. And I might not do a ritual, but I will come home once a week and put an offering on her shelf. And it's definitely the one thing that kind of keeps me, it keeps me feeling witchy, where it's like a thing that I'm doing every day, or I'm doing weekly, or thinking about every day, because I'm not always very good at keeping up with like the moon phases or the moon water, stuff like that. But my deity shelf is always there. And yeah, this has just been just a short little descriptor about my deity work experience. I would love in the comments if you could tell me about yours. Maybe put your book recs down there. We can start like a little book list for people who are interested. And yeah, check out the book. I will put my links in the description to join the digital coven, to check out all my freebies, my coffee shop, and my tarot workbook and guide are also available on Amazon. That'll all be down there. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, comment, and subscribe for more witchy content, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay wild, stay grounded, and stay witchy, my loves. Bye!